Business owners, do you lie awake at night wondering if you're on the right path to financial security? In today's complex economic landscape, many entrepreneurs feel lost in the maze of financial choices. But what if you could uncover the blind spots holding you back? Enter Michael Baker, chartered accountant and author of Financial Blind Spots. With over 25 years of experience, Michael is here to reveal the hidden opportunities in your finances and help you avoid costly mistakes. So get ready to transform your financial future. Hey, welcome to Top Dog Tips. Today we're joined by Michael Baker, a chartered accountant with over 25 years experience and the author of Financial Blind Spot, Insider Secrets to Discovering Financial Freedom. Michael, it's great to have you on Top Dog Tips.
Yeah, it's great to be here today, Greg. Thank you for the invitation.
So before we dive into the technical aspects, I'm curious, what inspired you to focus on helping business owners navigate their financial blind spots?
Well, that's a great question, Greg. And I can honestly say that I've actually probably been doing that for most of my career. Being a chartered accountant for over 20 years, I've been dealing with business owners for a long time. However, going into 2018, when the federal government decided to make some of their changes around what they were going to give the Canada Revenue Agency to chase business owners in the search for more taxes, I really had to sit and think about how I could give more value. And at one point, I think I was on the phone more with Canada Revenue Agency than I was with my clients. And I really had to revisit what and how I was going to provide value. And I decided at that point in time that I transitioned my career into financial services. And yeah, it's been just the most amazing thing I've ever done.
It's a great story to get you started. And it's just telling that the fastest growing division of the federal government is the CRA. So we need you, Michael. We need you. So listen, you've written a book called Financial Blind Spot, Insider Secrets to Discovering Financial Freedom. Can you tell us about one major blind spot in current financial planning that business owners should be aware of?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest blind spots, and I think it relates to business owners and people in general, is really the shift away from company-sponsored pension plans to the system that we have today. And the system that we have today is really dominated by government-sponsored plans like registered retirement savings plans known as RRSPs and TFSAs, which are tax-free savings accounts. Now, those accounts, as their name suggests, are not pension plans. They are savings plans. And because of that, really, a lot of people have more options. They have more tools. They have more service providers. And, you know, at the outside, that seems like a great thing, but actually it's turned out to be quite the opposite for people because they don't know what to do. They don't know where to look to. There's confusion. And then there's anxiety when people actually realize how much it's going to take for them to retire on the lifestyle that they're used to.
Yeah, that's a significant issue. Can you share a story about a business owner who was caught off guard by one of these blind spots and how they managed to recover?
Yeah, well, one of our best stories is related to a client of ours who's also a personal friend in Calgary. And what we did is when we went in there, we go through our process, which is we sit down and we talk to them about what's important to them. And we really come up with a family balance sheet and kind of look at where they are today. And then we actually sit there and go through a process where they almost design their future. And that's very intentional, Greg, because what happens is a lot of us just end up just floating down the river of life. And a lot of business owners are so caught up in the day-to-day that they're not actually moving towards their goals in the future. And as we all know, if you don't have a destination, any road that you take will get you there. And so we did our plan. We came up with some goals about an exit. We kind of focused on a 5-6 year time frame. And there were some bumps along the way. You know, the client had a major insurance loss in a clinic. Right. So that was really difficult to deal with. So we dealt with the insurance company and dealt with rebuilding the clinic. Then we went through COVID, which was, again, another huge issue with them. And then we went through a refinancing. And now that they've got, significant momentum, he's on his way to his 10X exit. And so he's literally created, millions of dollars of value for himself and his family over a relatively short period of time because of the process that we went through.
Excellent. Sounds like a lot of pain that ended up in a good situation just by doing the right things and following your guidance and direction. So, well done on that. So, Michael, you focus on business owners and professionals. What are some of the key challenges that they face regarding financial planning?
Yeah, well, and really speaking to that situation we just talked about, business owners are alone, and it's really sad that really most of the time, the only time that their professionals come together is when there's a divorce or there's a death. And really, business owners are faced with so many things now. They have lower experienced or less experienced workforce, higher taxes that we talked about earlier, higher operational costs, and they need professional guidance. And when they have somebody that can sit there and again help them pull together where they're at and set a path for the future, great things can happen. However, without that guidance and the expertise of the professionals, most businesses don't last. Like most businesses don't make it past 5 years.
Yeah, you made a very good point. Business owners are overwhelmed. So It sounds like the message is you're not alone. Reach out and go work with the professionals, get the guidance and the coaching that guys like Mike Baker provide. So I guess, again, you've outlined a whole bunch of challenges and scenarios. How does Baker Wealth address these challenges?
It's interesting because we all want to say that we're different. And for the most part, really, we're all using, for the most part, the same tools and the same strategies and the same concepts, right? And what it really comes down to, I do have a bit of an advantage in that, I'm a professional accountant, and that really helps me deal with the other professionals maybe easier because I speak the language. But the other thing is it really being able to sit and listen to what's going on for the business owner and really focus on what's important to them, because the fact of the matter is that there is no one solution. There is no silver bullet, and there's so many different ways to get to where we want to go, but it takes them to be very clear on their value proposition, what they bring to the table, and how they can structure their operations to really get to where they want to go. And so frankly, we listen. We take what's inherently complex and use it without reducing the complexity. And that's more art than science.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's maybe it's not a great expression, but you kind of dumb it down. And I hate using that expression, but you take the complex and explain it in easy to understand terms without being condescending.
Yeah, well, and without reducing the complexity, right? Because then, what will happen is that people will enter into a strategy with a misunderstanding. And then it gets into one of those things, well, you told me this, well, you told me that, right? So it's very important to break down the strategy and explain it in a way that they can understand without leaving out some of the nuance and the important aspects that they need to fully understand.
That's a very comprehensive approach. I like it. Can you share some actionable tips for business owners looking for financial guidance? So
the first thing I say to all the business owners and any individual, and we've covered this in our book, is really ask. We may not know all the right questions to ask, and we may not know, the answers or even understand the answers. But the thing is, as human beings, we have a real good BS detector, if I could say that, Greg. and that detector is there for us, and it's our instinct. And you will understand when somebody is either doesn't have the experience to be able to serve you at this time, or if they're being deceptive. And so I just say to people, ask a ton of questions. Now, the next thing is then really as an offshoot of that, interview lots of people. Now, the unfortunate thing, and again, there's an explanation for it, is that most people in financial services are referred within 2 degrees of separation. Well, what does that mean? So it means that, Greg, if you're looking for somebody, to help you out with your financial matters, you're going to go to a friend or a friend of a friend. Now, that's a good way to establish trust, right? But are they a good financial advisor? Are they going to listen to you? Are they going to give you, it's human for us to do that, but it may not be the best strategy. right? You may end up going with your friend's friend, but interview some other people, get some perspective, ask for some other opinions, right? Really do your work, right? Is another thing. Then the other thing is, don't get caught up by some of these, these slogans where, buy term, invest the difference, or like we like to say, buy term, spend the difference, because that's what people end up doing, or be your own bank or be the bank. Like I said earlier, there is no silver bullet. However, if you have someone that will listen to you and really understand what's going on, you can course correct. And I've seen people basically go from just kind of surviving to really changing their financial situations in a matter of 5 to 10 years. And we're going to be here that long anyways. So why don't we do something productive and move towards where we want to be?
Yeah, you mentioned the expression, buy term, invest the difference in that. But so what role does insurance have in financial planning?
Well, the whole term, buy term and invest the difference was actually originated by the fella who started a financial services firm called Primerica. And that slogan was so successful that he ended up buying a hockey team from actually getting all these people to divert their funds away from insurance products to investment products. Now, back in the 80s, when the markets were screaming, there was, nobody thought that, the rates would ever come down and stock market returns would be anything less than double digits. And well, we all know now, that we're in, 2024, that actually rates can go down and they can go up, and there is such thing as volatility. And so insurance is a tried and tested tool that has been out there for over 100 years. And some of the carriers that we use, like Canada Life, have never not paid a dividend. And these are very successful companies. And insurance, like a lot of other things, hasn't been sold in a great way. And there's a lot of apprehension around how it's sold. And that has actually, unfortunately, tainted the tool. But it's like, saying that there's a bad hammer, right? There's no such thing as a bad hammer. You don't use a tack hammer to drive in a stake in a railway track, right? You just don't do that, right? It's a tool. It's a financial tool. And it's a great financial tool if it's used properly. And, really, I think when people really understand what it's all about, everybody's going to want it.
Those are some great tips and real excellent actionable advice. So what is the one question you think every business owner should be asking themselves about their own financial future?
Well, I think that one question that everybody should ask is maybe what's enough? Now, what do I need? Like what, how do I want to, what does the future look like? And because, we end up starting to trade our time for money, and later on we trade our money for time. And, that's just the way that the world works, is that, you need money to do stuff, right? And so if you want to continue to live your lifestyle, then you need to really figure out, what kind of resources you'll need when you choose not to work. And I say that purposely, choose not to work, because I'm a big believer in having a side hustle and working as long as you can, because retirement as a word means put out of business and, or put out of service, right? Like who wants to be put out of service? My friends are retired, they're teachers, they got pensions, and they're out for coffee every morning, and they're looking for things to do, because we all need to stay in relationship with others. So I'd say, hey, work as long as you can, as long as you enjoy it. It takes a lot of pressure off your retirement, and kind of figure out what you're going to need, and make sure that you're working towards that.
Fantastic. So Michael, thank you. Your insights have been incredibly valuable. Where can our audience learn more about you, your book, Financial Blind Spots, and Baker Wealth?
Yeah, so we can be found on the internet, just like everybody else, is bakerwealth.ca. I can be found on all the platforms, so LinkedIn as Mike Baker, a CPA, probably under my formal name, Michael Baker, which is the only one who really called me that was my mom. You can find me on Facebook, try a little bit of Instagram. starting to try a little bit of TikTok. We have a TikTok page for our book, Financial Blind Spots.
Sorry, you're not dancing in that, are you?
No. We've got animated characters, but it's not me. Yeah, not yet. Anyways, we have a website for our book called financialblindspotbook.com, and people can find a little bit more about the book. The book is on Amazon, and so anybody can go buy it in either electronic, hardcover, or soft cover form. And yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. Medicine Hat, Alberta, Mike Baker. Yeah. There's not too many of me.
Excellent. Okay. Well, hey, thanks a lot, Mike. That's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Greg.
And there you have it, folks. Michael Baker has just shared some game-changing insights that could revolutionize your financial future. But remember, knowledge is only power when it's put into action. So here's what I want you to do right now. Head over to bakerwealth.ca and schedule your free financial blind spot assessment. Don't let another day go by without missing this crucial opportunity. The next thing is grab a copy of Michael's book, Financial Blind Spots, Insider Secrets to Discovering Financial Freedom. It's available at all the major retailers, and trust me, it's an investment that'll pay dividends for years to come. And if you found value in today's episode, share it with fellow business owners who could benefit from Michael's expertise. Let's spread the wealth of knowledge. So remember, your financial future is too important to leave to chance. Take control today with some strategy you learned from Michael Baker. This is Greg Belanger from Top Dog Tips, reminding you that in a world of business and finances, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those top dog dreams. Stay tuned for more Top Dog Tips. We'll continue to bring you expert advice and inspiring stories to help you thrive in all aspects of your life and business. Until next time, take care.